Welcome to the episode of Whocember. Today we are doing the first Big Finish audio of a couple Big Finish audios as part of Whocember. This one is a short trip called O Tannenbaum, and it's a Christmas one. You can tell it's got a bit of a Christmas flurry background. So this one stars the First Doctor and Stephen. So this takes place in between Dalek Master Plan and the Massacre. So now, what is the story about? So pretty much the Doctor and Steven, they land in like a snowy forest. They come across a cabin where there's a little girl in there. Her name is Greta. And, you know, it's a nice cabin. She's got a little tree. They got a Christmas tree. But she has her sick grandfather upstairs. And her father went out and he hasn't come back. So it's like, oh no, what's happened to her dad? And then, you know, as they kind of see where they are, they start to notice, or well, Steven does to the Doctor. He's like, Doctor, are the trees getting closer? And then the sky goes green from the pines of the trees. And yeah, so yes, the villains of this story are the trees in the forest. So, not what you would expect from a Christmas story, to see the trees, evil villain trees, attacking. There is a reason for the trees. I will not tell you why. I think you should pick this up and go listen to it. This will be I'll try to keep it non-spoilers, so if you haven't listened to it, you go listen to it. But this story is quite dark. For a Christmas story, it gets quite dark, quite grim. You know, it's not really happy. Even when there's a bit moments of levity near the end, it's not really happy. You know, the story always has like a grim, dour tone to it. Which again is very odd for a Christmas story. I mean, there's been dark Christmas stories before, but I was pretty taken aback. Even when I listened to this the first time a couple years ago, I was like, wow, this is pretty dark for a Christmas story, guys. Come on. But yeah, so I just be prepared for that when you go into this. I listened to this the first time a couple years ago when it was snowed outside, so that helped me, I guess, get into the atmosphere a bit more. I listened to this one when it was pouring rain outside, and I still felt immersed. But then again, that's what a good story does, right? Even if it doesn't have to be like, you know, the weather needs to fit the story to feel, for you to get invested in it. But it would help, you know, if it's like, you know, if the story you're listening to is sunny. Like, I listened to an audio recently where they were in a desert, and I listened to that when it was super sunny outside back in, like, you know, August, and that helped me get with the story more, because I'm like, oh, well, I'm kind of really hot out here too, so, you know, but you know what I mean. It just helps the immersion a bit more. But anyway, yes, this story, do be prepared. It isn't your average Christmas story. It doesn't have a whimsical fairy tale feel like a lot of the new Who ones. This is coming at it from a much more adult, darker perspective. Again, I will not spoil. I don't want to spoil too much. I gave you the brief synopsis. You go from there. But there is a good little berate that the Doctor gives the trees. Yes, the Doctor berates the trees, and it's not confirmed, but the Doctor might even speak tree. So, that's going to do it for O Tannenbaum. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. You know, I will never listen to this story bar Christmas time. This is a pure Christmas listen. And every time I listen to it, I go, man, this isn't really happy. But that's O Tannenbaum, and that's another day of Whocember done. If you've listened to the story, what do you think of it? If you haven't, I recommend you go listen to it and pick it up. And I will see you all next time for Whocember.